life. News Radio 1200, WOAI. It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese.
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
Looks like the last time we did it was in
And lastly,
March of
that's the
17
car, which
on
if you
Room
buzzed,
Editions.
It's been a while then.
Uh-huh.
Hi, Paul.
could
Paul's
be the most
watching.
expensive night of your life.
Hi, Dad.
Getting pulled
No,
over
Paul
for
Malloy.
Oh, Paul.
cost you around $10,000.
Not Paul. Paul.
Fines,
Hi, Paul.
legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz.
He's watching already?
Lower
Yeah.
buzz driving, because buzz driving is drug driving. Brought to you by the National
Okay,
Highway Traffic
is it
Safety
ready?
Administration and the Ad Council.
Yeah.
Keyboard cat,
Found
Hamilton
it.
the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well,
I guess that'll work.
that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoptions. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at the Shelter Pet, a public service announcement brought to you by Madison.
Which one is yours?
5. It's right here. On. Press on. Both the mics need to be.
What? No.
It's stronger than sticks, stones, and steel. It's not a big place sitting up house on a hill. A lot of things will come and go, but love never will. I'm proud of the house we built.
Welcome to the KM Builders Remodeling Design Show. I'm Keith Moehle, and along with my daughter Morgan, we are glad to be with you this Saturday. We were not here last week because of the Elf Louise campaign, and so we're glad to be back. And we're going to talk about something that we're doing a lot of right now, and that is room additions. And room additions can be large or small, and there's lots of little neat little ways we can get you more space out of your house. Of course, room additions can be within the roof lines that you already have, so you don't have to build out. So we're going to talk about that, and anything you have questions about, we'd be glad to take your call at 737-1200 or 1-800-383-WOAI. So we're glad to be with you this Saturday and hope you're having a good weekend. It's finally getting a little bit clearer outside and can drive your favorite car out, get it washed. And Morgan, what's our first topic here? Lane Contractor of the Week.
Yes, I was reading on. Man?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I was reading on a news for WOAI, and I have it printed for you right here. But it was a fly-by-night solar panel company that apparently there's a lot of in San Antonio that we have to watch out for. So we have to be.
Yeah, this guy was promised big rebates, of course, which there are rebates on solar systems, ductwork, tree trimming, and even a big screen TV. But he got what he got was a system that didn't even meet inspections.
Yep. So it's not even connected. It's just sitting there every day as like a $30-something thousand waste of money.
Yeah, there's not even a meter on it too for the inverter. So that is sad. $33,162. As he said, it keeps him up at night. And so, what's the name of the company?
Well, they didn't give the name. It seems like they're on trying to sue, so I'm guessing that. But
Keeping it.
CPS did give, recommendations. They said to get at least 3 different bids before choosing a solar panel company. And they also have a list on their website of companies that are registered with the city.
Right.
So look there before, doing it. This was
scammer.
a door-to-door scammer.
So that's not the way to find one. Always go to the CPS Energy website, and there are some really good ones on there if you're interested in doing that. A lot of people have asked me what do I think of solar? I think it's obviously a good product. It's gonna last quite a while. And the rebates do make it worthwhile to do it. One thing we don't know, the future is a lot of these types of technologies have gone way down in their price. I myself am gonna wait till I can own it outright, pay for it myself, and then get the benefits every month of it. But I'm waiting for the prices to drop, but it is not a bad deal because of the large rebates. But again, you need to make sure that your product is really installed correctly, or you can have a worthless product, and it does cost a lot of money to get a solar system. The only way that it's gonna be even worthy of consideration is if you're getting money back off your electricity and rebates. Right now, that would be the 2 things you must have, and those change from year to year, so you might wanna get signed up if you can, still this year. You can go to the CPS Energy website to find out more. And so we're taking your calls live at 737-1200 or 1-800-383-WOAI, and we like to talk and warn people about contractors. Every week I meet someone who's had a bad story. I'm in about 500 homes a year, meeting people, giving them consultations about what would work well for them and ideas, and just sharing a lot of information. My average visit is an hour to an hour and a half with you, free consultation. I want to give you what you need to make a decision, whether it's with us or with someone else, or whether you don't do the project at all. I had a gentleman a couple of weeks ago. He said it was on a Friday, I remember, and he met me at his home, and he had some ideas about doing an addition on his home. It was a smaller home. It was a really nice, probably mid to late 30s with a family, and had a nice discussion about it. Then I started, after understanding what he really wanted and needed, started to tell him what things cost. And he said that just really wasn't gonna work for them and their current needs. And they were thinking about possibly selling the home because that probably wouldn't work for him. And he actually had it on the market for a while. But he did want to explore that opportunity, and so he told me, he says, you probably could have told me that over the phone and saved yourself a visit. And so I said, I could have, possibly, but I don't know that it would have, that I would have given you as good of information. And I said, I really want to go out and meet people. I don't want to dismiss them over the phone and tell them that, oh, that's not gonna work for you. You can't afford that, or that's not in your budget. That's way more than you want to spend. I don't know that, first of all, 100%. I don't want to be so prying, trying to get information out of people to give them that accurate assessment. That would be hard to do. And then, if I did, I don't know alternatives. Sometimes I can look at a home and see a great alternative they have not thought of. And if I'm doing it over the phone, I'm not gonna think of it either.
That's true.
I mean, so I would much rather give it, and I'm the kind of person that, and you know this, Morgan, I don't mind losing an opportunity, or whether it's a sport or whatever, if I give it my best.
Yeah, if you don't give it your 100%, you're gonna be pissed at yourself.
Yeah, I'm mad. I'm really angry. That's the only thing that bothers me in life, really, is when I don't do my best. And so, even with the opportunities that come to our company every day, and there's usually several a day, I have to go and explore. That's just part of my nature. I wanna know that I gave it my best shot, not only for me, but for them. And then I can sleep good at night, knowing that I did a really thorough examination of what people need, and is there any way we could help them, or someone else could help them, but they need that hour to an hour and a half visit, just really exploring all the options. Sometimes we're talking a little bit about financing too, and things they did not know that they had available to them. So you can't capsulize in a 5-minute phone call all the things that you need, or that I could share with you. And so that's what we do. We offer a free assessment, free a pain-free experience in a consultation so that you can avoid these lame contractors that sound so good, so sweet. Even if you've already gotten a company and you say, I think I'm going to use them, but why don't I just give Keith a call and have him come look at it and see if that makes sense. Even if it's just for that, I do not mind it. We'll call it a community service, and we'll shake hands, we'll be friends, and even if I can't do the work for you, I would love to make sure that you don't hurt yourself. And there's way too much of that going on. And so that's one of the reasons we started this show over 15 years ago, and we are glad to be doing it. So don't hesitate to look us up at kmbuilders.com, and we'll right there, or at least get someone to call you back. And we'll call you back. We have a great, friendly staff, a team that really love to talk to you and set that appointment up at a mutually convenient time. And it's worth the wait. So give us a KMCO 680-5626. That's 680-KMCO. And we're going to go ahead and take a break right now. We'll be right back. We're going to be talking about room additions 101 and some of the ones we're doing and some of the neat ideas that you may not have thought about. We come back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show.
When weather hits, the right wiper blades make all the difference. That's when the Michelin Man is on your side, helping you see better and drive safely with new Michelin Premium Wiper Blades. Designed
Man, I just now got this working.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's the Facebook?
Mm-hmm. So irritating.
That thing is so low, it's barely catching my head.
It doesn't make a difference whether it's high or not. It's not like it comes like this. I guarantee you,
Yeah.
it does not.
Sit up higher.
So do I. This thing is blocking me and I can't get
Can you
it.
sit up higher?
No,
Why not?
this doesn't go any.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, we look better already. And plus, this thing was pretty high for me. For you,
Oh. For
For
me,
you,
it's
for me,
low,
Lord.
see?
can you pull it down and then pull
No,
that down
mine's-
and then do that? Maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Now tilt it a little more.
Maybe I'll just move my
There you go.
computer.
You put it on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the thing will swing more on it. And that extends a
I
lot.
didn't realize
And
that. That's better.
you can pull it up closer to your computer.
Oh, but I can see it now.
I like your hat. Are you
Thanks.
hot?
No,
Does it make you hot?
cold.
That ought to warm me up.
Yeah, if you're cold.
I'm not cold,
Oh,
because I'm hot all the time anyway, usually. I get warm real quick, especially if I have a t-shirt on.
you have a
And a
t-shirt on
shirt.
underneath?
I always wear, in this kind of weather, I'll wear a t-shirt and I'm warm all the time. We got this.
Now we'll know better. Look at this.
That's for yours.
Why, yours doesn't have it either.
Don't put it on yet. I gotta hear it. So I can't hear you. We can't hear each other talking. Only when the music comes on do we want to put them on.
Oh.
Here we go.
I knew it was time.
Welcome back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. And we are talking about room additions. It's a subject that a lot of people think about, or at least explore, fantasize about. But if you have a question about room additions or anything about remodeling or the construction industry, I would like to take your question. Morgan and I would like to give you an answer at 737-1200. That's the local number. Of course, that's a 210 number, 737-1200. And we'll take your calls here live on WAI, AM 1200, the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show, which we've been doing for 15 years. And we want to start off our segment on room additions here before we get too deep into it. A client testimonial. I think you were going to help us with that, Morgan.
Yes, we received a letter from the Garcias. They came letter, and it says.
That was this week, right?
Mm-hmm. It says, to KM Builders. Rich and I would like to express our appreciation for a job well done. Our dream kitchen remodel is everything we imagined. From the first day Keith arrived at our home and explained the services his company could perform for us to the last day of completion, we watched the wonderful transformation of our home. The entire process from Keith's visit to the design engineers, our ideas were coming to life on paper. Mac and Bonnie then went into action to assist in the selection of cabinetry for the arts and crafts style we envisioned, countertops and flooring. As the remodel start date approached, of course, Rich had to depart for work overseas. Our project manager, Mike Garcia, made sure our dream kitchen and laundry room would be completed as discussed. The demolition and dust protection started. Robert and JD did a fantastic job ensuring the place was cleaned up at the end of each day. Wall had to be reconstructed. Dan and Sean made it happen truly by opening the room. Oscar and his team worked on the sheetrock and painting, a job that required his attention to detail and follow-up behind the other teams as the job progressed. The electricians, Justin and Raymond, started laying out and worked to make sure we had more than enough lighting required. I just love that. Tile work and flooring turned out so nice, adding the extra special touch to the appearance of our place. A big thank you to the very accomplished and talented finishing crew, Andy and Elio, installing the cabinets, beautiful crown molding, and all finishing details, revealing the true arts and crafts style kitchen of our vision for the remodel. It would not be a job without the quality and safety inspector of Ted's visits. Rest assured things were all going well. The appliances were delivered and installed from Ferguson's. We had a few complications, but quickly resolved, and the hard work and dedication of their installers were admirable. There were some big pieces. The plumbers from Merritt Plumbing were amazing and always with a smile to accomplish their task moving water lines. Sublime team measured and ensured our granite selection was cut just right and had several large, heavy pieces of granite countertop to install. And wow, what a difference that made, along with the tile work, backsplash, and laundry room flooring. What a transformation of that room. Well, as the job was ending, there were a few more touch-ups by Oscar and a final walkthrough. No job would be complete without the lovely cleaning professionalism of Marcy. She made it shine. I'm sorry if I overlooked anyone in the process, but it takes a great team along with all the folks behind the scenes to complete a vision. We love our new kitchen, dining, and laundry room. Thank you to Mike for keeping everything running. We had someone on site every day making our dream kitchen and laundry room come true. Very satisfied customers, Barb and Rich Garcia.
Man, that is incredible. I had no idea that you had that type of testimony.
Oh, you didn't have it?
No, I've not seen it. That's the first time I've heard it. I knew they came into the office this week, and the reason I knew is because Tina texted me and said that they wanted to set up an appointment to thank me personally, me and Mac.
Aw.
Mike McDaniel, the one who was the design consultant. And they did leave out Daryl, because he did a great job on the, he did a great job on that tile work. But, no, I cannot believe they really knew all those names.
They remembered everybody's name.
And I know they didn't call the office or anybody
No,
to
nobody
get
knew.
that.
We were all
Nobody knew.
surprised
And
when
they came in and
came.
brought a gift, and, I mean, that was just, and I wasn't there, of course, but
Mhm.
they said, no, we wanna make an appointment to come in and thank him personally. I mean, nobody does that, but those people.
And they said they wanna have everybody out.
Oh, that's right, they said they
Mhm.
wanted to have everybody over for a barbecue.
Yep.
And, I gotta say though, even though that no one's done exactly that, they've done some things similar to it.
Mhm.
And this is what I think, Morgan, I think it's happening more and more.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Because of our fine tuning, our team and our staff. And so we're bragging a little bit here, apologize, but that was a lengthy one. We do need to know, we just tell you what we get each week. Morgan takes the best of the compliments that have come each week. And it's increasing all the time because we're working so hard to make a better team. And like I send out the letter to the team this week,
Mhm.
it's the best team that I've ever worked with in all my years.
Everybody's so happy at the office. We had a really nice Facebook Live on Wednesday, and a lot of our employees watched it, and they were just, we talked about how happy everybody is. It was
Mhm.
really nice.
We got comments from inner office on how much they appreciated the team spirit that was displayed on our cold one with KM.
Yes, and you know
Wednesday
what's
chat.
funny? I have a little funny story. We
Okay.
talked about how the three guys are really excited to go down to the lake town.
To the lake
And
project.
we talked about how, David got volunteered because he's got his new car. And the Bozies, when they pulled up behind him, they said, "We knew it was you guys! 3 guys in a new car. It had to be y'all." We heard Morgan and Keith.
That's funny, right? The homeowners heard about us.
Yep,
on
and
the
so
video.
they said they were kind of following them the whole time, and their manager, Paul, he right away was like, "Oh no, did David drive bad?"
No.
And he was like, "No, he didn't cut anybody off."
Yeah, it's a great team, and we really, you and I know we're not the only ones, because of little things that are going on in the office all the time, and the fun that people are having,
Mhm.
and the warmth and friendliness and family that we've generated there. Everyone has contributed to, even our latest addition, Kelly Thompson.
Yes.
She's a great addition to our front office there, and helping Mike, my brother, with dealing with some of the paperwork that goes on with contracts and so forth. So she's really helping out with that. And Tina gets a lot of credit for being the face and voice over the phone when you call in. So we're really excited about our team, and we want y'all to know more, everything we can about you. It's not just about the detail. I tend to be the person that just wants to talk details, technical details when I meet people. And so I'm learning that they want to know more about us than just technical details about how we know how to build. Now, I know a lot of people are glad when I meet them because they see that technical background and that we really know how to do this better than anybody. But most people want to see more than that.
Yeah, that's a part of it, but it's a boring part.
Yeah, and that's why you're on the show, because I can get too boring talking about technical details. And you talk about this other stuff really well, and I know that a lot of people do want to hear. We don't want to, I'm still nervous about talking about it too much, so we're going to get into the room additions. The first thing I want to say about room additions, and again, you can call us at 737-1200. You know what, we do have time for Alan at Floresville. I didn't see that. Alan at Floresville. Let's see if I hit TV. Is that what I need to hit there, Gabriel? You can nod your head. Do I hit that green button?
Nope.
No, I hit the one that's on there, 1, right? Okay, let's do it. Okay, which one is that? The lower one or the higher one? It's this little knob here. We might have to get Alan afterward. Let's see. He's gonna come here. Alan, if you're listening, hang on. I did this once before, but it's a new studio. That one. Okay. There you go, Alan.
Now.
Can you? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are on now.
Good. Thank you very much. My name's Alan. I'm calling from Floresville, Texas, and I had a question. We are in the final stages of finishing up just kind of a makeover of a place that we bought out here. It really needed a whole lot of stuff. One part of the house has a plumbing issue. I was hoping I could.
Alan, let's see if we can help.
Okay, what it is it's a two-story house, and the upper story has all of the drains that's coming down and then eventually ends up draining into a downstairs utility room. Now, what I'm noticing about that side of the house, which didn't look like it was really being lived in at the time that we purchased it, is that whenever we, use the sink or flush the toilets or anything upstairs, there's a gurgling noise. I mean, like a drainage, a gurgling noise is the easiest way I can say it. And what I'm noticing is that the main drain that goes down and into the utility room, and eventually everything on that side of the house feeds into that main drain, like a 3-inch, 4-inch line, pretty good size, doesn't have a vent. And I'm thinking that whenever it was that they put this house together, they never took a roof vent and took it all the way up. And so my question is, if I were to cut the main drain line and run a vent upward, and then come out the side of the house, because I now have a upstairs deck area, and just let that drain vent out to the atmosphere on the outside of the house, and again, not all the way to the top of the roof, would that possibly fix the problem? And might I be in violation of any kind of crazy codes or anything?
You're thinking exactly the way I was thinking. It's probably a vent, and I would look for a way to do it in code. Putting it below an area that has outdoor decking on it is not in code, but you do have the right idea, and it's going to create smells. That's the main reason, and that's the only reason. And if you don't have, you do it yourself, and you can tolerate that, and it's probably seldom going to be an issue. But there may be another new invention that could help with that. But you're right on the money on that, and I would do it, and I bet you that's going to solve your problems.
Okay, I'll give that a try, because the other side does have something similar to that, and I'm just thinking, well, it's on one side of the house, but not on the other. So I wish I could say I came up with that idea myself, but I appreciate the input and help.
All right, thanks for calling the show, and just like that, we're going to take a news break. And we want to mention our sponsor, All Stop Brewery on Highway 290 East in Fredericksburg. They're a sponsor of the Cold One with KM. And we're going to take a news break right now, and we'll be back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show.
This is News Radio 1200 WOAI, San Antonio, an iHeart radio station.
I'm Morgan
Montalvo.
We got to get into
Mom was watching. She would see I'm wearing her scarf.
Mm-hmm.
She's not.
Let's skip the trending. You want to cover this remodeling 101, okay?
Okay.
Save it for another time. It's a lot to talk about on run additions. Customer review was long.
I know. I had to read it though.
I know, it was good.
Well, I'm gonna pass that one up. They're so sweet.
Snow threatening southeast, the mountains in North Carolina can see 1 to 2 feet of snow.
If it would have been a little bit colder.
Richmond, Virginia, I see that. It's not too far south of Alexis.
You would have gotten snow too.
If what, been a little lower?
Yeah, just like 3 degrees last night. Today it's supposed to get,
How cold did it get? 35?
I think so. Last night was 35. And today it says the low is 35 as well.
You got in the ministry? So did we.
Jeez. What did y'all do?
Mom did letter writing.
Oh, nice.
It's a barber door.
Hey.
Sorry about that.
No, it's good. It's a little weird.
Man, I
sometimes.
forgot.
Yeah, it's
Completely
kind of just.
forgot.
Yeah, if you take them in here, I mean, I could take them in there for the show if it's easier. But
No,
just-
I wanna hear them.
Yeah.
So I just put that and hit that button.
Yeah, but yeah,
Okay.
before when you hit this.
I hit that first and then this.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's how that will work.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, and if you ever like, if it's like not on there for some reason, you can see the little bars here showing up. So like when
Okay.
someone's talking, so
Great.
if you don't know, if you know where it's coming from, so it's even if it's like not in program, you can hear.
Oh, okay.
It'll show
which
like on
one.
the sound bar. Like
Okay.
even like mic one.
Like here?
Yeah, if you're
Now
talking
it's
to your mic.
showing.
Oh, I see it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's if you want to just find out where it sounds, just pop
Okay.
that up. So.
Thank
Cool.
you.
No problem.
That's
That's
a
a clue.
cheat.
I see it's going 5 and
One.
1.
Yeah, that's ours.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool.
I don't know if my talkback comes out over the speakers or if it's through your headphones.
It's the headphones.
Okay, so yeah, I just didn't know. So, but yeah, usually I should tell you about the caller. I mean, he wasn't waiting
Yeah,
long.
tell me.
He wasn't waiting that long, so. But
Yeah,
still,
tell me if I don't see it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, as soon as it comes in, you can tell me.
Okay, sounds good.
It's not as easy to see anymore.
Yeah,
It used to be
it's-
on the computer.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Bill in
for
the
some
morning
reason,
still
I'm still not used to looking at it.
Yeah, I guess that's gonna be how it's. I thought it was gonna be a huge like screener, 'cause that's how it is
Yeah.
in mine. But I guess.
Oh, it
it's,
isn't?
What
yeah.
did the other people use these big computer screens
I have
for
no idea.
then?
I don't know. People do different things throughout the days. It's used by lunch. It's just big crowded. So,
Yeah.
Look at this,
working.
how you can switch stations.
Huh. Yeah, that's what I'm not understanding the purpose of the computers.
Well, it ain't for us, that's for sure. Look at that, is that pork loin? That was pork loin. No, that's prime, that's filet mignon right there, that looks good, doesn't it? Omaha steaks. And they know how to make one of those eat steak tonight.
And the commercials that always get me are the Olive Garden. If I see an Olive Garden commercial, I want Olive
Are
Garden.
you serious?
Oh yeah, they have the best food photography. I really
This is pretty
believe
darn
that.
good right here.
No, not the burger doesn't look that good. The steak did, but
Steak looks awesome. That's
not
a
everything
perfect
looks
medium.
that good.
That's a perfect medium right there.
Yeah.
Talk about distracting, watching food while we're on them. We're not on 104.5 Latino hits.
I don't know why it has
Gabriel, I
to
wonder if you
switch.
can, it switched. There we go. That's our station.
It switches always.
Uh-huh. Gabriel, can you hear me now?
No.
Gabriel, can you hear me? No.
Clearly and concisely.
It almost seems common sense. Absolutely.
News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Who is it, Morgan?
I don't know.
Who is it, Morgan?
I don't know.
That's gotta be the Doors, right, Gabriel?
Nope.
No. Who? Gary Clark Jr., thank you. It just sounded a little bit like the Doors at the beginning. I'm not a big Doors fan, so, but
Apparently.
it sounded a little bit like, what song did it sound like? Head on down to the other side, break on through to the other side. That sounded a little bit like that, didn't it, Gabriel? Just a little bit? Nah, he says not so much. That's what I thought it was at the beginning. If I'd listened a little longer, I guess I would have figured it out. But that sounds like a pretty good band there. Gary Clark, you have to play me some more of that. We are live at 737-1200 and taking your calls there if you'd like. 737-1200. We can take your calls on anything here at the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show, and we're going to talk about room additions. But in the meantime, go ahead and load up those phone calls, and Gabriel will tell me when you call. I'll be a little faster this time.
And I also just want to remind everyone that you can watch us on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and YouTube Live. So check us out there. You can send us a comment, and we will see it.
Thank you. And yeah, it's fun to watch y'all watching us and letting us know what you think. We always like feedback too, so don't be afraid to tell us, hey, that was corny, or that was lame. We can take it.
Hear his singing.
That was a jab, wasn't it? Okay, really a good attempt. I think I could do better. I don't know. I probably shouldn't, but I think I could. You know. All right, so we're talking about room additions because there's a lot of things that people don't think about in room additions. Two types of people we want to speak out to. One is if you just can't imagine doing a room addition in your house, there is a way. And the second thing is if you think it's real simple, be warned. You're forewarned right now that it's not as simple as you think in almost every case. So, and a lot of you are astute enough to know that you really want a professional when you're getting into room additions or taking out weight-bearing walls and so forth. So I just made a little list of a few types of room additions that you could have. Now there's ones that are attached that are usually outside of the existing home. That would mean a foundation's going to be required. Typically you're going to need a roof on it too. Now you're also going to need engineering and so forth. But if you do an attached room addition where you're adding on square footage to the outside of your home that already exists, and you want to make it larger, well then you're going to use a foundation of two types typically. One is a concrete slab, but in many cases, depending on your circumstances and on what's really needed, you can do a pier and beam foundation. Yeah, a pier and beam uses either wooden posts or concrete piers, and then it has beams sitting on top of those, and it's a very, very stable foundation when done properly. Now, a lot of people have seen those fail because they were done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But so do concrete foundations. You've also seen concrete work that cracks all up into a million pieces.
Breaks away from the house.
And that's because it was done wrong. It wasn't engineered, or they didn't follow engineer specifications. So either one can be good, and sometimes pier and beam is a real savings, a real cost savings for folks who need a room addition, but they want to keep the cost down. So that's the first type of room addition, something that is attached on the outside of a home. Now those can be 1, 2, or even 3 stories high. They can be an addition to the first floor, and then right above it, you're getting an addition to the second floor. And it is more cost efficient the more room additions you're adding on, especially with paying for the foundation one time, and then putting a roof over both of them one time. So that's kind of a way you could look at it. And so if you'd like to have a room addition, and then you think, well, yeah, the upper room would be great to add on too, you're going to get more bang for the buck if you do it that way, but it costs more. It's going to cost a little more, but not as much as you would if you were paying for 2 separate ones. So on those attached room additions, that's one time. Then you do second floor room additions, which what I'm talking about is adding a second floor to a 1-story home. You can do part of it, or you can do all the house.
Can you do 3rd story?
You can even do the 3rd floor. Yep, you can do a 2nd and 3rd floor at the same time. Of course, you better know what you're doing when you do these, because there's certain things that have to be done, and most people don't realize that their foundation is already suitable for having 2-story on. Almost all the homes that are built for a 1 or a 2-story load. Some even 3 stories would work. But that's pretty much the standard in the industry. You don't change a foundation if you're going to put a 1-story home on it versus if you were going to put a 2-story. It has the same design specifications.
That's good.
Yeah, so you don't have, that's an expense that a lot of people are concerned about that is not usually an issue at all. So you have that type of addition on, putting another floor on a house.
And that's what we did.
That's what we did. And then you've got them that are in garages or patios or attics. You can turn those into room additions. So you may have a big attic, and you may think, I could build a room addition, and you probably can. Or you may use a part of a garage, or part of a patio, or part of a closet that you don't need, or a little outdoor room that's attached. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can get space, and these are all called room additions. It's not the only way you can get space, but these are the types of room additions that we typically can do. Does that lead to any questions, Morgan?
Which one is the least expensive?
Well, typically, if you can build out already, like in an attic, and there's already, that's gonna be your least expensive. And your foundation for us to build over an existing home, like a second floor in an attic, is not as expensive as doing like concrete. So that's typically your least expensive, if you have the attic space for it. And
That's a perfect solution.
Yeah, it's a really good solution, and it is typically your least expensive. Now, changing a second floor, a one-story home to a two-story home, or adding out onto the side, it really is depending on the circumstances. Sometimes they'll run the same price, and sometimes there's a lot of reasons why one will cost less. But it's not always the same one. It's not always adding a two-story is cheaper, is less expensive. I mean, it's not always that way.
I could see most people would think so, because you hear foundation, everybody thinks money.
Right. But all of these are very viable, and a lot of times you could do one or more of these types on any home. But there's always a solution for any home. We're going to talk about some of the myths and some of the things you really need to be aware of, and some of the advantages of doing a room addition when we come back to Remodeling and Design Show.
This Christmas, my late.
Now we're back on time. Almost.
I like doing it live. It's easier to keep track because he keeps track. He just times us out at the end.
I don't remember how to talk to him now.
Do you have to turn on our mics to talk to him?
I think it's this one. Oh, it used to be this way. Nope. Is this how I talk to you?
Yeah.
Do you know what our time is on the out? What's your timer saying right now, as far as your clock time? Say that again. Okay. Yeah, you've got the same as me. That sounds really good. So a bear goes into a bar. What are you laughing at?
I was just laughing at Fernando again.
How's it? A bear goes into a bar, and he sits down, and he says, "I would like a beer and some beer nuts." And that's it. And so the guy says, "Wow, such big paws."
I don't get it.
He had big pauses in his sentences, and he has big paws.
Oh, so
Don't
funny.
you get it?
I just thought you were talking slow for a dumb reason.
Yeah.
So on Friday, it was really quiet, and when y'all are all in the meeting, and so it's just me, Gabrielle, Bonnie, and David and Fernando. And at one point, we were all talking to each other except Fernando. And so I walk over and I look and I'm like, "You are here. You're not saying anything." And he said, and David's like, "Yeah, but," and then I don't know what David said, but Fernando says, "Yes, but yesterday oh, David said, yeah, you should have seen him in the car yesterday. And I said, did he sleep? And they're like, Corrado says, no, I talked a lot. And then he was like, I got A++ for talking.
He's humorous, isn't he?
Because he doesn't say much, but everything he does say makes us all just laugh. I got A++ for talking. He said he was teasing Mr. Paul. He always calls him Mr. Paul.
I was reading jokes.
It's time. You haven't got that yet?
Is it the same group?
Doobie Brothers.
I would have got that one.
No, you wouldn't have.
Yeah, Doobie Brothers. I know that.
He asked off air what it was.
Thank you all for joining us, the KM Builders Remodeling Design Show, and we are talking all things remodeling, and you can call us at 737-1200 for a few more minutes. We'll take your call, and we are also room additions. And the room additions, very popular project. We have about 4 of them going on right now. We usually have 1 or 2, but right now I think we have about 4 in process.
We have a comment on Facebook.
What's that comment?
From Keith Lindsay. Keith, is this the daughter that is always worried about you?
Oh, yeah. I think, yes, it is, Keith. This is the only daughter that speaks up about me, because the other one's out of town. So yes, it is. Morgan is the one. Thanks for joining me, Keith, and tell your wife hello. I didn't get to meet her, but I know she was feeling bad. And thank you for calling, for logging in on the show. So now you know what Morgan looks like if you're on live. You
And what you look like.
Peek over he knows me. I went to go visit him.
Oh.
Keith always remembers Keith, right? And can you peek over there? Which screen is he viewing? Which one is he looking at? Okay, you got to peek over there.
One.
Okay. But in room additions, there's some things to really consider. Whether you're doing an add-on, first floor, you want to add on to the first floor, you want to add on to the second floor, you make a second floor over first floor. There's a lot of things to consider. I want to just mention a few of them. I mean, foundations built first is the biggest one. A lot of people are building pier and beam or slab on grade without engineering, and it's going to move more than the home, and it's going to separate. Your whole house will start pulling apart.
That's scary.
That sounds extreme, but it's really true. So you want to avoid some potential problems like trees. You want to have, a lot of people will do the same foundation even if there's a tree close by, and you can't do the same foundation. You have to have a blocker for that tree, for those roots not to get underneath it. It's called a root shield. That
Really?
you design it differently, so that the roots will hit it and turn away and go back, rather than going under and then lifting the entire foundation. Improper slope on a roof is another common one. People throw on a little bitty shed roof, and it ends up, people think, well, water will definitely run off these shingles because it's tilted. Yes, it is tilted, but not enough.
Really?
Because water can actually work its way back under. Whenever there's hydraulic pressure and you have heavy rains, water can go down, but it can also be pushing into the shingles and working its way back up. So the capillary attraction, the hydraulic pressure, all these things can mean that roofs are getting wet underneath and following and getting into the nails and so forth, even though you don't see them. And then that means eventually your decking is rotting out, your insulation is getting wet. It doesn't dry out once it gets in. It's hard for it to dry out real quickly. So that is a real thing we see a lot. Second floor additions, some of the potential problems is sagging of the members that you're adding. If you add a second floor to a one-story home, you see lots of problems with sagging and ceilings and sheet rock cracking, or even a lot of the homes where we see the actual room where it was opened up or where they put rooms above it, the ceilings are actually starting to bow.
Whoa.
And that's not very good at all. And another thing is not all homes you know, you need to check and see how thick that foundation is. We said that most of them can handle it, but it needs to be verified. And especially if you put concentrated loads and fireplaces and brick in certain areas where the concrete was not meant to carry that. So concentrated loads sometimes need to be reinforced. Concentrated loads would be where you're putting a lot of a second floor beams and so forth in one area. Now that might have to be reinforced, and you need an engineer to look at that. In attics, there's a lot of things that can cause problems. You know, you really have to look at where you're gonna put this elevator even. You can really do a lot of damage on when you're doing a second floor or an attic conversion, because you're working over an existing space. Now, a really good remodeler will know how to do both. They'll know how to add over it with space below and making you wish you'd never started this project. But one of the big problems we see too is that people don't design room additions for the home. And that's a big mistake. You're not gonna get the value out of it, and it doesn't take much more to do it right if you have professional designers. And that's what we offer at KM Builders, professional designs from the very beginning, architectural designers, interior designers, even cabinet designers. And, you know, these people have gone to school for this and done it for decades. So we want to put all of the expertise, and of course the construction team, and we have over 500 years experience to be able to help you with anything from a room addition to a simple or very complex remodeling project. We break it all out for you. We give you the cost, we give you choices so that you can save the most by being informed. And we never want to start off with anything but high quality. Doesn't mean high prices, but it does mean high quality. We want to also give a shout out to Legacy Heating and AC Services. Look them up. This time of year, it's really good to give Chad Briggs and his family of workers a call at legacyservicesac.com or 830-608-8000. And we thank you for joining us here on the KM Builders Remodeling Show. You can look us up at kmbuilders.com, and you can set up a free consultation where I'll come out and meet you. That's kmbuilders.com, or look us up also by phone at 680-KMCO, 680-KMCO. And thank you for joining the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. And like we always say, you could have someone else remodel your home, but then you'd have to live in it.
The proceeding.
We used all our time.
And somebody called you right at the end.